I've got my next yarn color. I'm ready to change colors and sections, so let's talk about how to do that. So first, I'm going to take off that little rubber band, and I am going to, in the color I currently have, just gonna leave myself a little tail, and I'm gonna take the tail of my new yarn, and I am going to just make a little knot, just a single knot in those colors, so now they are connected, and then pull it all the way through. I'm going to trim that knot off, and voila! Needle is threaded to a new color. I love doing that so that I don't have to pull out the wire threader every time. So now we're going to move on to a new section, and it's the same exact thing that you were doing earlier. You can pick a starting point, push down, pull that little tail to the front, and now we're going to just continue punching along that pattern line. So let's talk about a few reasons that your stitches might not be staying put. Number one is that you are not punching deep enough, or you're lifting your needle too high. So when I do this sideways, you can see, if I do not push my needle all the way down, my stitches on the underside are going to be really tiny, and they're not going to stay. So if I go real tiny, okay, any lifting of that needle is going to pull my stitches right out. So it is imperative for your stitches to be able to stay and for your work to look good that you push down into the fabric every single time, all the way down to the handle every single time. And when I get here, I'm going to turn my needle and, oops, I'm going to keep punching. The second thing I mentioned was that you could be lifting your needle too high. So if I do not drag my needle to the next spot and I lift it, it's either going to pull that stitch out, or I could be creating loops on the back of my work, or the side that I can see. And remember, we only want the loops to be on this front side. So I'm going to pull that out and reset. Now let's say you're punching and you flip your work around and you're not super happy with how your stitches look. So right here, these don't look as consistent to me as these over here. What do? Well, here's the great thing about punch needle, is that you are able to take your stitches out, use the tip of your needle to scrape the fabric weave back into place, slide the needle back down to the fabric, and continue punching. That's the great thing about monk's cloth. It is very forgiving, so if you mess up, you are able to go back and fix it. You really can't ruin it. Now sometimes with this needle, you might run into, it feels like you can't quite get it through. If that happens, it's probably because you're going straight through a thread in the fabric instead of going between the threads in the fabric. So if that happens, just give it a little wiggle and then keep pushing through. So I'm going to continue along my pattern line, and I'm able to punch this new section exactly as I was before with a new color. And again, do not have to pack those stitches in. We don't want it to look like it is bulging on the front. All right, I've gotten to the end of that. I'm going to pull that away, trim, and keep working. Now that you know what to do, I want you to keep working in this exact same fashion to finish out your project. You're going to punch the leaves and the flower centers, the flowers, the background, the whole thing. And then I want to meet you when you've finished punching, and we're going to talk about how you clean up and finish your hoop to get it ready for display. So I'll see you in the next video.